Welcome, everyone. I'm so glad you're here with your Sabbath school class today. We are jumping right into today's explainer, and oh man, we've got an amazing story lined up for you. We're going to be talking about a young guy named Joseph, and we're going to figure out what it actually means to trust God when things get, well, when they get really, really tough. We've got a fantastic journey ahead of us, so let's get into it.
Let me ask you something first. Have you ever felt left out, or maybe lonely, or just straight up scared? I want you to actually close your eyes for just a second. Go ahead, close them. Now think quietly about a time when you felt completely alone. Maybe someone wasn't being very nice at school, or, maybe it was just dark in your room at night. Okay, go ahead and open your eyes. Listen, it is completely okay to have those hard feelings. We all feel that way sometimes, even adults. But there is a secret, something really special you can remember when those scary feelings try to sneak up on you.
And that brings us right to our big idea for the day. Let's say it out loud together. I can trust God to be with me. This simple truth, it's kind of like a giant, heavy anchor that holds a ship in place. We can hold on to it, especially on our absolute hardest days. Because whether you're having the best, most fun day ever, or a super lonely, scary day, God doesn't leave you.
All right, let's look at part 1, Joseph's dangerous journey. So things went sideways really quickly for Joseph. Picture this. One morning, he's just happily doing what his dad, Jacob, asked him to do. Jacob sends him out to check on his older brothers who are way out in the fields watching the sheep. So Joseph throws on his beautiful, brightly colored coat. This was a super special gift from his dad, and off he goes to find them. But the moment his brothers saw him coming in that fancy coat, their hearts just filled up with this awful, ugly jealousy. They were not feeling brotherly love right then. They were mad. And that jealousy, it led to some literally terrifying next steps. They actually threw their own brother into a deep pit and then sold him to complete strangers. Now, behind the scenes, Joseph's brothers actually had two totally different plans. The oldest brother, Reuben, felt kind of uneasy about the whole thing. He definitely didn't want Joseph to get hurt, so Reuben's secret plan was to put Joseph in the pit for now, but then sneak back and rescue him later when no one was looking. But then there was Judah's plan. Judah spots these traveling traders coming down the road with spices, and he says, hey, let's just sell him as a slave for 20 pieces of silver. And honestly, the saddest part, Judah's cruel plan is exactly the one the brothers went with. Just try to put yourself in Joseph's shoes for a second. His big brothers rough him up, they rip off that beautiful, colorful coat, and then, thud, down into the deep, dark pit. Can you imagine hitting the bottom? It's pitch black. It's freezing. He's probably smelling the sweet spices from the traders' camels up above and listening to the clink, clink, clink of the silver coins as his very own family sells him. He must have been just absolutely terrified. But here is the amazing part. Even as Joseph was sitting there terrified, even as he was dragged far away from his dad to a totally strange land called Egypt, he made a massive choice. He chose to pray. He remembered our big idea, I can trust God to be with me. He had absolutely no clue what was going to happen to his future, but he turned his heart toward God and chose to believe. He just knew, somehow, that God was right there in the dirt of that dark pit and right beside him on that scary, dusty road to Egypt.
Which brings us to section 2, what God is like.
Let's talk about our word of the week, trustworthy. What does that actually mean? Well, being trustworthy means you're reliable, you're honest. It basically means you are someone who keeps your promises and can be trusted. And Joseph's story shows us, clear as day, that God is literally the most trustworthy friend we could ever possibly have. You can always, always rely on him, no matter what crazy thing happens or where you end up.
So here is what we know for a fact. God is with us. God is trustworthy. God helps us when we're scared. And God is incredibly close when we pray. He doesn't play hide and seek when we need him the most. Even if other people are mean to us or we feel completely trapped, God never, ever leaves our side.
Let's transition over to section 3, KK's mission story.
I want you to meet KK. She was an 8-year-old girl, probably right around your age, going to an Adventist school all the way across the world in Thailand. Now, KK didn't actually grow up knowing anything about God, but then her mom got sick, really, really sick with cancer. KK was so worried, and she just wanted to do something, anything, to help her mom. So at school, her teacher, Teacher Lynn, taught KK how to pray. And for 4 whole months, every single day, Teacher Lynn and KK would kneel down together on the floor and just ask God to take away her mom's pain. Now, this is a tough part of the story. Sadly, KK's mom just kept getting weaker and weaker.
But KK was so incredibly brave. She actually stood up and told her classmates, "If it is God's plan for Mother to go and for me to live without her, I have to believe and trust in him." Eventually, her mom did pass away. It was completely heartbreaking, and KK definitely wondered why it had to happen. But as a little time went on, she learned that it's actually evil and sin in the world that cause sickness, and that losing her mom made God cry too. But through all those tears, KK made the choice to keep her faith strong. Today, KK's faith is just this beautiful example for every single one of us. She says, "God knows what will happen in my future. I trust in him." Now she prays right when she wakes up, when she heads to school, and right before her head hits the pillow at night. Just exactly like Joseph trusted God on that terrifying trip to Egypt, KK is trusting God completely with her entire future. So let's bring it all together in section 4, God is always with you. You know, sometimes we can feel just as helpless or as scared as this little paper version of Joseph right here. Maybe somebody said something really mean to you at school, or maybe you've got a big test coming up that you're stressed about, or maybe things are just kind of rough at home right now. When you get that sad, left out feeling, or when you're lying awake worrying in the dark, it honestly feels exactly like you are trapped at the very bottom of a deep, dark pit. But here is the absolute best news. When you are down in that pit of sadness, God climbs right down in there with you. You are never, ever doing it alone. So what can you actually do? What can you whisper when you feel upset? I want to give you a really simple, practical tool you can use this week. Whenever you start getting that stuck in a pit feeling, I want you to remember to just whisper these exact words. God, please be with me. It really is that easy. God hears that tiny whisper every single time. We are going to wrap up today's explainer with a beautiful memory verse from Isaiah chapter 41, verse 10. It says, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God." Wow, what a promise, right? I want you to really think about this as you head into your week. If the all-knowing, all-powerful God of the entire universe is promising to stay right by your side and hold you up, do you ever truly need to be afraid?